Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Here I make easy to understand Excel tutorials, and I'll be going into detail about how Excel works its magic too, and not just where to click. I'm hoping this makes it easy to understand, and of course if you have any questions, just drop me a comment and I'll get back to you. Before I start, please subscribe if these easy how-to videos help you, and let's get into it. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about the SUMIF formula. The SUMIF formula is a function in Excel that allows you to add up values in a range of cells that meet a certain criteria, and you get to pick what criteria that is. It's really useful for situations where you want to sum up only a subset of data in a larger data set. And I'm going to show you in practice how that works, just so it's easier to understand. So starting out, the formula itself looks at three different categories, I guess we can call them. So the first one is going to be the range that we analyze. So I'm going to write this down here so it's easier to kind of reference back to. So the first part is range to analyze. The second part is going to be the criteria that we're looking for. And then the third is going to be the range that has the values that we want. And you only need these three things in order to make the SUMIF formula work. So let's say that we wanted to get a sum of all total values, but only for the item pencil, right? So we've got the range and we've selected which criteria we want to see. In this case, it's going to be pencil. So I'll go ahead and start building out that formula. It's going to start off with equal sign SUMIF, and go ahead and add that first parentheses. And then we're going to select the range that we want to analyze. So in our case, we want to see pencil. That exists in column D. We want it to analyze every field in column D to look for the word pencil. So the first range is going to be all of column D. Put a comma, and that tells Excel that we're ready to tell it what the next field is. And in this case, it's going to be the criteria. In other words, what are we looking for? So you could do a referenced cell here, or you can just type out a word or a value, a string of characters that you want to see in quotation marks. So that's what I'm going to do. So the word we're looking for is pencil. Okay. And then one more comma, and that tells it that we're in the last field here, which is going to be the sum range. In other words, which range do we want to sum up? In our case, we want to see the totals for pencils. So the sum range is going to be all of column G. So I'll just select all of column G. I'll close that parentheses. And there it is. So what it's doing here is it's taking every total, but only where it says pencil. And it's going to add those totals up. So it's adding that 189 to the 179 to the 167. It does this for the entire data set. And yeah, it's right there. It's very simple. Definitely not intimidating or difficult concept to learn, in my opinion. I'll show one more example as well. So another way you can use SUMIF is if you want to use it for multiple criteria. So in this case, we only used it for pencil. But what if you wanted to have two arguments in there that you wanted it to look at? So what if we wanted to check all the totals where, for this example, let's look at the rep. Let's see all the totals where the rep was either Jones or Andrews. So there's many ways to do this, but I'll show a simple way for now, where we just duplicate the formula that we used previously. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take off that equal sign. That way we can see the formula right here written out. So let's build the next formula. So we'll start off with equal sign SUMIF in the first parentheses. So we want to analyze the rep column, so I'll do all of column C. And then in quotes, we want to look for Jones and Andrews. So I'll type in Jones first. And then same as before, we're looking at total, so I'll select all of column G. And if I close that parentheses and I hit enter, it runs it for that first argument, looking for any rep that's Jones that made a sale and what those totals were. You can go ahead and continue this formula by adding a plus sign and then another SUMIF, open parentheses, and we're going to look at column C again. we'll add a quotation and we'll look for Andrews. And then again, we want to look at totals continuously. So I will add column G. So what this formula here is doing is it's running that first argument, find any rep named Jones, find their totals, and then I've got a plus sign here, and what it's doing here is find any rep whose name is Andrews and find their totals, and get those two totals and add them up. So now this SUMIF formula is looking for two different arguments and giving you the totals for those. So again, very simple and very easy as well. I know this is possible to execute using pivot tables, and it's quite easy as well if you see my last video. However, there is a time and place where you want to use a formula instead of a pivot table. So for example, for me, I have certain reports that I pull from the internet for work, and all the reports look identical. I pull them once a month and they're all identical. Even the tabs at the bottom of the sheet are identical too. So if I have sales orders, I may have something called inventory, and it goes on and on and on. And I don't want to create multiple different pivot tables to get certain values and SUMIFs. So what I actually do is I pull all the sheets, I add them into one worksheet, and then I have a little formula page here where I just have a bunch of SUMIFs. And what it's doing is I'm telling it to go into certain worksheets and pulling certain things for certain fields, and I'm asking it to do it instantaneously. So while pivot tables are possible and not too difficult, when you're working with batch information, batch data, this can really help you save time and almost automate the process of pulling certain values every single month. It just saves you from doing a little bit of clicking, and in my head, that's a win. So there you have it. That wraps up my video. If this helped you, then please do subscribe and be on the lookout for more Excel how-to videos. I'm hoping to make as many as I can, and I want to make everybody a data expert in Excel, but in the most easy to understand way possible. So that's it for today, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.